The gray area. Okay, you guys, let me tell you why they license ideas with no intellectual property. Here it is, you guys. This is the most important information. So you have an idea, you show it to a company. Here's my idea, here's my sell sheet, here's my little video. Here it is. What do you think? Now the company sees it and goes, I like it. This is good. Good, we like this. So next thing you know, they bring the manufacturing guy in and goes, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, we can manufacture that. Bring the attorney in. The attorney comes in and goes, well, does he have a patent on that? Well, no, he doesn't. Well, what does he have? Well, I don't know, let's ask him. You have any intellectual property? Sure, I have a patent pending. Oh, he's got a patent pending. Well, can we see it? Okay. So we show him our provisional patent application. If it's done correctly, it's going to have perceived ownership. I'll talk about how to write it that way. And the company now has a dilemma. And they're going to ask their attorney, what do you think? The attorney's going to go, I don't know. There's a 50-50 chance. No one has that. No one can tell you exact. I can get 10 attorneys in the room, ask them the same question, I'm going to get 10 different opinions. Because that's their business. And that's what's crazy about it. So the company, the CEO, says, hey, what do you think? He says, well, he doesn't have a patent on it. And he says, hey, I can sell this, though. Well, does he own it? Well, who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Well, how long is it going to take to get a patent? Well, it could be years. Well, we can sell and start making money now. That's their dilemma. Well, if I'm a big company, why don't we wait till it issues? Well, maybe someone else beats them to the punch. Or maybe the market changes. So they have a very big dilemma happening here. What do we do? Do we say, forget about it? We'll just wait till it issues? That's not good business at all. That's terrible business. Do we take it? Well, look at the PPA. He's got all these variations. He's done a great work. This guy knows. Just look at all the stuff he's done. I'll tell you how to write that in a minute. What do we do? You know what they do? They license it every time. Because there's a strategy to that. When the grant of license, that's that little, what are they licensing from you? That's that little part in the licensing agreement that I love. That's that little part in there that is gold to us. Now, most companies would say, we're going to license it, maybe worth claims that get issued, or maybe a patent application, maybe they want to define it. But what we do, how I work with my students, we don't define it that way. Yes, we have a patent pending, and guess what? We're probably going to file some more intellectual property. And the reason why we're going to file more intellectual property is because it's going to help you. It's going to help me. So now, what does the company do now? Well, we want to nail him down, but the guy just opened the door. He opened the door so wide, they don't know what we have. They're confused now. So then you say to them very easy, you say, look, I'll make it real simple for you. If my patent issues, give me 7%. Oh, okay, great. If it doesn't issue, it's just patent pending, or if it's just patent pending during that period, give me 3%. Okay, that's fair enough, because we're in patent pending stage. Okay. If it doesn't issue at all, give me 1. Now, here's the truth. What happens? Because you played the grant of license, you've opened the door to file new intellectual property, you've extended that time of that patent pending status for a long time, probably for the life of the product. Did everybody understand that? Let me repeat it again. The grant of license, what are you licensing from me? Why am I paying you a royalty? And their attorneys want to go, I'm going to pay you a royalty on your patent. In fact, I'm going to pay. Some company says, only if you have a patent. We talk about getting rid of those. But this company says, look, if that patent pending, and they have your application number, when that issues with claims that we're using, we'll pay you. That's what they want to do. Right? They want to narrow it down. They want to have an opening that maybe the patent issues, but we're not using those particular claims. They don't have to pay you. That's what they want to do. That's their strategy. But what we do, we say, wait a minute. I might file more intellectual property next week. We might be working together, and I might come up with another variation. Or I might even file a design patent. There's a lot of intellectual property here. Don't just, and then they're like, and then you say to them, and that's good business for you and for me. How do you argue that point? Because you try to protect them too. See, that's where you get them. It's helping you too. And so the next part of the deal is really simple. You say, look, I know you're nervous, so let's do this. If it doesn't issue, you pay me 1%. Okay. Now, because I opened up the granted license, I can file another provisional patent application a year later. Take another year, get them to pay for the non-provisional, it will take another 4 years. I could do that a couple times. Worst case, I could run it out 8 years. Now, the USPTO has been pretty quick these days. But you guys, that's the game. I'm going to open that window. And they like it because it gives them all the options. If it's grants, we'll pay them this. If it's patent pending, we'll pay them this. If it doesn't, we'll pay them this. Everybody gets satisfied. That's the deal. Does everybody understand it now, you guys, a little bit better? If you don't, I talk a lot about it in the book. You need to grasp that. That's what's happening now. Those are real deals, right? So, because there's always this gray area, there's this gray area that I absolutely love and everybody hates. Let's see if I get another one up here. The win-win strategy, that's what I just said, right? And like I say, if you don't understand it, please read about it. I talk about it. I write about it. You guys, you've got to understand that. Whatever you can. If I'm not going to explain it, ask someone to explain it to you. Buy the book, read about it. Because once you get that, once you really understand what's happening there, you realize we have the power. But they want it, it's speed to market. Because today, you guys, really today, it's speed to market. It's how much can we sell, how fast. It's not about protection. Nike cannot protect its products. Disney cannot protect it. Apple cannot protect it. Why do you think we can too? No. And if someone does take your idea later and they do a workaround, congratulations. Because you're selling a lot of product for them to do that. Right? You're selling a lot of product for them to do that. So it's never that bad, you guys. It's always good. All right. So that's the win-win strategy. Oh, jeez. We have all these students at InventRight that we teach how to write a provisional patent application. We're not attorneys. We cannot give legal advice. But I've written so many over the years, and every one I've written has always turned into a patent. I've never had one that has been completely rejected, final, and walked away from it. Some I walked away a little early because maybe it wasn't a good application, but the bottom line is, if you write it the way I'm going to explain it, you're going to write one like no one else will ever write one for you. And that's what everybody's nervous about. I've never done it before. I read a patent, I don't even know what it says. Right? I tell people, if you ever want to go to bed, you're having a hard time sleeping, just pick up a patent and read it, trust me. So, to become an expert, this is what you need to do, you guys. To have a patent that has value, because I've seen a lot of patents that get issued that I think have no value whatsoever. So how do you write a patent or a provisional patent application, because that's part of the process, that has value? Value where your potential licensees will license it from you. Value in that it will stop workarounds. It's really it's a good fight when you do it that way. Google image search. You guys, the first thing everybody should do, first step in our InventRight process, and I have a lot of students here. Raise your hand if you've ever been a student or past student in InventRight. Quite a few, good. The first thing we teach is study the marketplace, and how do you do that? You do a Google image search on your idea. Hey, is it out there? That's simple to do. Have a blast, you guys. And I guarantee you'll find something similar. It doesn't bother me. If it's too similar, I have a problem. But if there's something out there that's kind of similar, and I got an improvement, it's fantastic. Right? So we do a Google image search and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. That's the first thing you should do. The second thing you should do is a prior art search. How many people have done a prior art search? Now, some people don't like it. I really like it. Because to me, it tells the history. And I can only invent for the future if I know the history. So I'm a researcher, and looking at prior art, prior patents is something to me that's really fun. It's even fun when I'm filing patents and I can snoop on my competition. Right, that's what I do. I snoop on what's going on in the industry because I can type their name and I can see what they're filing. Because most of those patent applications are now public in 18 months. I can see the world of what everybody's doing now. So prior art searching, don't you find you see if your idea is out there. And guess what? I will guarantee you will find your idea by searching for prior art. Doesn't mean it's a good idea, doesn't mean they did a good job with it, doesn't mean they made it worth to be manufactured, doesn't mean they sold one, but you'll find some variation. And I think that's the greatest thing. Because they're telling you what to do and what not to do. They're giving you the roadmap to success. Don't be shocked. Look at the pictures first, then if they look somewhat even similar, just read the whole thing. And read it over again and over again and try to understand it to the best of your ability. But it's telling you what not to file, what to avoid. It's giving you the keys to the kingdom. It's right there in front of you. So find your prior art. Find those ideas that are similar to yours. That's really important. And look at the name of the person, and look how well they did. You'll realize most of those patents are junk. Right? They've over-designed it. Bells and whistles. They had no idea about manufacturing. That's what you'll find. Because some inventor was fearful. And he went and filed it too quick. And he didn't understand some really basic business principles. Test the market first. Find contract manufacturers to see if this is going to be made. Right? So all this stuff is not that good. But you'll find it. But that's a great tool. So once you've done all this, you know what happens? You become an expert. And it's important for you, not your attorney. Because your attorney is not going to look as hard as you are. I've got when I was doing my rotating label, I told my attorneys, they know me pretty well, and I showed them my rotating label, and I said, what do you think about it? This is brilliant. But they knew me, and they said, this cannot be a new idea because you're not that clever. They're smart guys. They knew I was not that clever, too. So they did a prior art search. I spent like $1,800, and guess what? They came back, big firm in DC came back, and they didn't find anything. And sure enough, I was at Procter & Gamble. Everybody's probably heard this story. I get invited by the CEO of Procter & Gamble to go out and show the technical group my innovation. I bring my wife out with me and bring a manufacturing guy there. She's great. She was vice president of marketing for Dow Winery. She used to talk about marketing. I had the manufacturing guy that needs all the equipment for P&G. I had him by my side. And sure enough, we had lunch right before the meeting. I remember walking across the grass, and I felt so good. So I'm finally here. And I thanked the gentleman for lunch. He looked at me and said, Steve, don't ever forget one thing. And, he said, what's that? I said, there's no such thing as a free lunch. And of course, my wife gave me that look, gentlemen, that you've seen before. We've all seen, like, I told you so. And sure enough, I went there, and they had all the technical group. And if you've ever been to the technical group in P&G, you walk down this aisle, and there's patents, patents, patents. You're walking down this whole aisle, and nothing but patents. So right away, you're kind of like, so you get in there, and sure enough, there was 20 guys in there. And they didn't like it that the CEO told them, hey, why didn't you come up with this? This little guy from Oakdale came up with this idea. Sure enough, I sit down and do my song and dance. I get there, spin the label, and my wife gets up there and talks about marketing. And the guy just got up, the guy that took him out to lunch and slid a piece of paper across the table. He said, Mr. Key, we're not going to pay you one penny for this idea. Thank you very much. And they all got up and left. What is this? Sure enough, they looked at all this prior art. All the prior art that the company I paid for that couldn't find it. And I realized, what happened there? So I sent it over to my attorneys, and he said, Steve, I'm sorry. I said, what are you sorry about? He said, well, you didn't invent this idea. It's been invented 50 years ago. I said, well, I thought you guys looked. And he said, well, it was like a leaf on a tree. I said, well, how did they find it? Well, they looked harder.